Hi Gemini, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to get right into things. We have a lot to talk about. I already meditated and pulled the cards as a way of saving time because these readings there's actually so much to talk about. So this is going to be the sister video to the first 2 weeks of June, and we're going to be focusing primarily on the eclipses. We have a lot of other things going on in the sky coming up. We have Mercury retrograde as shadow right now. We have a lot of planets in reverse right now. We have a lot of other stuff going on, but we're going to be focusing primarily on the eclipses. So just to recap super quick, we mentioned how Gemini, all archetypes have 3 degrees, early, middle, and late. So for those of you who are May born, your early degree. For those or 0 to 9 degrees, mid Geminis are born June 1st to 10th or 10 to 19 degrees, and late born Geminis are from the 11th on, and that would be 20 to 29 degrees. So we're dealing, you want to just check if you want, if you didn't watch the first 2 weeks of June, you're going to want to check the first like 9 to 10 minutes. I do timestamp it to just figure out early, middle, and late are going to be getting these houses hit a little differently for each. So, but we're going to just address all of them. We're going to have this first house and 7th house polarity going on, and this 8th and 2nd house polarity going on over the course of this 2-year narrative of this particular eclipse season that we're in right now. So let's get right into it. We have a lot to talk about. So let's talk about the first house, okay, to begin. First, let's talk about the first house. And this represents your body, and this energy is about you. It's the house of self, and it's also the persona that you project. It's how you relate to the world first, okay, and the effect that you have on others. This also has to do with your image. So many of you are going to be opting for a new look during this time. A lot of you getting a new hairstyle, some new clothes. Some of you are going to be losing weight, getting in shape, whatever it means for your external appearance. And the thing is here, there's going to be a very unexpected positive impact that this is going to end up having on you as things roll out in this energy of the first house of self. So this could be a simple example of you go shopping for new clothes and you meet somebody, you know, like very serendipitous situations come up that are going to end up serving you. Now, marriage is very possible in this house, okay? This is the house where that's entirely possible, or you may be transitioning into a better place concerning other people in your life in general. The first house also speaks of beginnings and starting things anew and fresh, but it also implies a time where you may find yourself defending something that you value. So this can be something tangible, or even your reputation or choices that you've made thus far or that you're going through right now. So the advice here really is to keep your cool and rise above, because people are going to try pushing your buttons in this house, trying to get you to be a way that they want you to be. So just be mindful of this and be flexible, you know, but firmly footed in your convictions right now. Okay. And then we have Saturn, the Saturn energy of wisdom. Okay. This is from my tarot astrology deck, and this is to just get some additional messages from the universe for the second row. So here for this first house, we have Saturn wisdom. This is a Capricorn Aquarius energy, and this is synonymous with the World card in regular tarot. So getting this card tells me that it's time for a reality check. You know, it's time to shine a light on anything that's been hiding in the conscious or unconscious mind, right? Where there's a sense of delusion and keeping it real. I'm a Gemini sun too. Guys, I'm right there with you. Okay, but delusion is something that we struggle with, and we struggle with it cyclically until we actually become aware of it. And it's not in any, like, you know, malicious way or anything. It's just that sometimes we'll idealize a situation, or sometimes we'll kind of have these rose-colored glasses on that we just refuse to take off, where we're not looking at the reality of a situation. This is something that Geminis do, the archetype does, you know, struggle with. I'm right there with you. But don't be afraid, because whatever is exposed, whatever truth comes out, no matter how harsh it might seem, it's asking you to take very pragmatic steps to face up to it so that you can change and rectify something that's going on in your life, right? This card shows up when we feel like things aren't really fair, but it asks that you trust that you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and whatever constraints and walls that you're dealing with right now that are getting in your way, you're just meant to evolve into a higher place by pulling down those walls, you know, walking over it and getting onto the path where you really belong. This is a time to consider how external boundaries can actually inspire you towards greater confidence, and also where you might need to solidify some no's and liberate some yeses in your life, if that makes sense, right? Because there's this idea of you just becoming really smart in this first house energy. And then we have the Ace of Swords. So as far as it being a chakra card, because I'm using my chakra cards on purpose here, because we do get some additional messages from this. This is about your root chakra, and this is about family beliefs and the shifting of ideas, shifting of old ideas. So there's a truth coming out here, but one that is going to be impacting every aspect of your life, right? Because this talks about new beginnings in this house, is decisions and clear thinking. This is all about confronting the truth. And when this shows up, the manifestation in your life that's going to be happening is going to bring an immediate change to your circumstances for the better. So whatever changes that you're making in this first house, as we discussed, right? We did discuss what's there. Whatever changes you're going to be making, you're going to experience a great deal of success with. And because when this energy shows up, it indicates truth and success, a successful outcome in whatever area that you're questioning. So that's really beautiful. And then we have the Princess of Cups reverse. So as a heart chakra energy, this stands for permission and thinking about really sitting with yourself and thinking about whose approval do you need right now? Because this is where true fears are revealed. And because it's reverse and it's a cup energy, this tells me that your heart is not as open as it needs to be right now. And this is going to end up impacting the evolution of your first house. Excuse me. So it's something to just think about, because this does indicate disappointment and an offer that when you first started with in the beginning seemed perfectly suited for you, but it ended up not materializing in the way that you would wanted or envisioned. So this tells me that either you or someone you're dealing with has intimacy and commitment issues, Gemini. As a person, this energy indicates someone who is not trustworthy or reliable and who's hooked more on the chase and ideal of a perfect relationship rather than sticking around for the long haul, you know, like that. They want to be there for the honeymoon phase, but not for the tough stuff. So some of you may be dealing with someone who is looking for the thrill of a new romance somewhere else, continuing some sort of cycle of manipulation, okay? Now, this does indicate behavior that's inconsistent and unpredictable, and somebody who deflects problems of the relationship back onto you. They take very little ownership of what they do. Now, look, again, keeping it real, this can be you, Gemini, because it's a court card. So, you know, court cards means that it could just as easily be you or someone you're dealing with. But for those of you not dealing with a relationship at all, that same kind of individual can be in your energy, but at work or within the friendship sector or family, in which case that person would just show themselves to be really untrustworthy and inconsistent, and someone that you're just really struggling to trust, you know, really struggling to trust. So this is really going to be something that you're going to be addressing in your first house. You're going to be addressing the situation. Okay, and then we have the 7th house, and the 7th house just represents partners and connections. Whether there could be emotional connections, domestic connections, or even lawful connections. You know, what is right or permissible is indicated here. So the 7th house is the area of the chart that represents the other. And since it's opposed to the first house of self, that's that me-we polarity that I was mentioning in the last video. So traditionally, this is thought to be the house of marriage and marriage partners. And although this is definitely still the primary, meaning it can also signify co-workers and family and friends and peer groups, you know. But this is the traditional house of Libra. So it governs fairness, balance, and the law. And it also indicates open enemies. So for most of you, this can be one of two things. It can be one of these or both of them. Are there issues dealing with a partner, significant other, or court cases and legal matters? So because this house is neutral, it really just strives for balance. So on a mundane level, the 7th house can mean engagement, a marriage or relationship moving to the next level, as in a partnership becoming more settled, you know, and gaining maturity, or it can imply getting ready for a more serious relationship. As far as dysfunctional relationships, again, because we have the scales here, that's really going to be driven by free will. So in this reading, we're going to get some more answers about the dysfunctional relationship from the rest of the spread. See what's, what's going on here. So let's take a look moving forward. We have the quincunx, okay, which is also, some of you who know astrology, it's also known as the inconjunct, which is complexity. A quincunx means planets at a close degree within an orb of 7 to 8 degrees are 5 signs apart. And they have clashing elements and properties. So, for example, you guys being an Aries Gemini, you have this inconjunct or quincunx with fixed watery Scorpio and earthy Capricorn. So I can hear those of you from here saying, oh my God, my partner is a Scorpio or Capricorn. Well, then you will know that how complex this energy is, because this is like a lover who keeps magnetically returning to your bed, but is never quite right in the morning light. You know what I mean? It's like the quincunx presents us with a smoking hot complexity, undeniable attraction, and sometimes like addictive mixture of pleasure and pain. Yeah, and this typically indicates never fully understanding each other, compartmentalizing feelings, and living with confusing contradiction. So, guys, even though you're Gemini, and I just explained the 2 signs that you're naturally, in conjunct with, it could be any sign, because we really do have all the signs within us, but this is what this means. But this quincunx teaches us to release our ideas of what good and bad means, and to be open to the range of experience that actually makes us human, Because when signs such as these enter into a relationship, you guys need to lay down the weapons, dismiss judgment, and celebrate the radical and really uncomfortable truth that not everything has to be understood to be accepted. And that's really hard for a Gemini, because we like to understand stuff. We're very forgiving, right? But we really like to know what's up. So this energy is asking you, though, to really pay attention to where harshness towards yourself or others is causing you what is actually avoidable pain. Where have you tensed around what should be, what you should be doing, what somebody else should be doing? It's like you trying to make something maybe that it's not. This is a powerful reminder that everything happening in your life isn't meant for you. It is meant for you in your evolution, however unjust it might seem right now. And this is a space to think deeply about the relationship between your internal and external worlds. Where are you believing that if someone or something were different, it would solve your current struggle once and for all? So really commit to sitting with the discomfort and settling into that contradiction, right? Because Geminis, we are contra, right? We're two, right? We're twins. So settle into that contradiction so that you can learn to let yourself and others be exactly who you are and who they are. Let them be who they are. And then we have the 7 of Swords energy. This is a crown chakra, tapping into higher consciousness. The 7 of Swords, which is a moon and Aquarius energy, typically indicates some sort of dishonesty. And while many of you may be encountering a challenge to your position within a relationship, an individual invading your space, I'm getting, is somebody's coming off as very selfish right now, taking a lot from you emotionally, okay? Like there's this taking vibe here. I'm also getting, though, that this is you really getting to the heart of the matter. Like you're taking those swords and you're just cutting through the bullshit once and for all to get to the truth. And you're willing to accept that complexity of a relationship, but you are no longer willing to accept any more of the confusing bullshit that's been an inherent part of the foundation up to this point. You're getting very real with yourself and your higher consciousness and what's necessary to make something work. And the thing, even those of you not in relationships here, it doesn't matter. The same thing with friendships and family relationships where you're just ready to cut through the bullshit. You're not taking it anymore. Or you're establishing that in order to be in a healthy relationship, you're becoming very clear on what your needs are. It's like you get into the truth of it all. And then we have the Lovers. It's time to make a decision, Gemini, regarding the 7th house of partnerships. This indicates a decision in the relationship. And the choices you make now are going to have an impact on the trajectory of your life. So this definitely indicates, I do want to say, a very positive influence, an offer of true love, provided you follow the guidance of your heart rather than your head. You know, we fight with that, right? And if you're willing to take a risk rather than stay with a safe choice, you may soon discover your own it's the Lover's card, your own beautiful Garden of Eden, which is so full of possibility and success. So for those of you already in relationship, a decision whether to take your partnership to a deeper level needs to be made once and for all, And you're being asked to make a mature decision that supports your true needs of respect and intimacy and love and trust, and to connect with a partner who is truly emotionally available to you. Really. This is the time to look at the patterns in your previous relationships and see what your current love or prospective new love partner can offer you that's different and ultimately more fulfilling. For those of you who are single, this is all about loving yourself first to manifest the right relationship when the time comes. So, good stuff. Good stuff. And the Lover's card, you don't see it here, but it typically has those clouds in between them, right? And that indicates there are going to be issues. But it's all about getting to the heart of the matter and working through the issues together. And that's what we need to do in the 7th house during this eclipse, because if you can't do it, the relationship is going to eclipse out of your life. That is just the way you're going to eclipse one in or you're going to eclipse one out. It all depends on how you guys decide to handle it. And then we have the 8th house of endings and beginnings. And this is where it all goes a little dark and weird and mysterious, okay? The 8th house represents the darkness before the light. Even though new beginnings are on the way, you need to grapple with that darkness in the unknown for a while. But it's not going to last. See, because traditionally the 8th house is about sex, death, psychic powers. On the mundane level, that's what we say. It's about control and material things, such as money and inheritance that typically belongs to other people, but things that you end up owning, or at least partly so. But this is really all about transformation. Not a time for superficialities. It's not going to serve you. This is a space where you're going to be evaluating your life's choices and the need for great change. And something that's been in your life for a long time crumbles, like the tower, but only to be built back up again in a different way. So you're not going to be able to move forward without taking care of the situation, though. And certain changes have to be completed before you can move ahead. Okay, so yeah, this adjustment might feel uncomfortable. It's not an easy one. It's not, but the 8th house is all about beginning, and it's the beginning and then the end. So for many of you, you're going to be faced with a situation where you're going to be faced with a doorway that you have the opportunity to walk through that you really need to think long and hard about, because this typically indicates doorways popping up, but many of them we should not be walking through. So this is about you tapping into your intuition and choosing the right path. Okay? Now, I do want to say, just because we have the skull and its endings and beginnings, this does not mean that someone's going to die, okay? But it does mean that you may end up dealing with things being passed on to you, like inheritance issues, deeds, trusts, insurance policies, goods of those who have passed away, alimony, right, from the death of a marriage, child support, and even taxes, okay? This house also indicates what a partner owns and their resources and finances that you end up acquiring through the relationship. But besides the transformational component of this house, it does offer very penetrating insights and support of going as you go through this time of renewal, where you're given a second chance. You're going to feel like that. So even though there was this period of darkness, there's something so much better to replace whatever's eclipsed out here. And those of you who know tarot, this is the Nine of Swords energy, okay? And then we have Sagittarius, which is the Voyager. And getting this card here indicates that you need to adapt a Sagittarian sensibility for this 8th house. So Sagittarius is all about the everlasting quest for essential truth, and they love to, oh man, do they just love to go on adventures? This is an energy of having a hard time holding back, but not in a bad way, because Sagittarians always have a backpack on and they're ready to travel, but their moral compass is typically very much in place, right? And they usually have a blanket of integrity wrapped around their shoulders and a promise to do the right thing. Very important to them. Respect is very important to Sagittarians. So getting this card is asking you to move beyond any self-imposed limitations, and don't be afraid to take some real risks now. Pay attention to where you've built up walls and borders in your life and really look at them in an attempt to really take them down right now. This is time to take a chance, Gemini, not to be afraid. You have to really work on building up your optimism, because I am getting a lot of you have had that knocked down a little bit, and have faith in walking on your own unique path right now, okay? And then we have the Ace of Cups reversed, and this is the chakra energy here is red, right? And red is the root chakra, and this is all about the route taken. So again, this is another one about family beliefs and the shifting of old ideas. So here, this indicates, though, a block within the relationship from something, from there not being a shifting of ideas, from there being an old way of thinking. Okay? Now, for many of you, this may be a lack of space or time to nurture your relationship or your projects. You may be feeling really, really tired, just really exhausted emotionally due to somebody's emotional demands on you right now. So this can indicate to me that somebody's ideas are too stagnant to push something forward, like the relationship forward. It could be you, or it could be your partner, where they're just very stuck in an old way of thinking that's actually not serving them or the relationship. But you can only control yourself, right? You know, and if it's you, I just feel very much, Gemini, like you guys are getting in touch with that. But this may be an energy that you're dealing with. And then we have the Six of Cups, is the sixth chakra, which is the third eye. And this is all about, you know, what do you believe? What do you not believe? This is about, you know, is it real, or is this some sort of like hidden family agreement that's sort of trapped in your DNA? And I'll explain what that means. Is this the Six of Cups reveals happy memories, right? Typically, and a time to recall childhood with fondness. But here it indicates something much deeper to me. And this is about you getting in touch with change that is happening. Okay, for some of you, I'm getting there could be a lot of change happening within your family of origin, some sort of shifting, some sort of eclipsing. This could be, this could indicate, you know, a death within your primary family, a divorce within your primary family, but a marriage, some sort of shifting, you know, a new baby being born, something like that, okay? So yeah. Something with like a sibling, parent, or extended family. Or this tells me for many of you that something in your life is happening right now because of something happened in your past, your deep past. This is indicated when we have to address scars from our childhood. But like very often those scars are there simply because of the way our family did things, like no malice involved. For example, if your family was very secretive about issues going on within the family dynamic, you end up taking that sensibility into your adulthood, making it very challenging for you to be completely open and honest within the family that you ultimately end up creating, you know? So it kind of like that. But what I like about this is this indicates you becoming mindful of that patterning. And the result of that awareness is going to bring balance in your relationships. And you're going to find a new healthy normal for how you do relationships. And you're going to be having these epiphanies of recognizing things that you've been doing really, I'm not even going to say wrong, that just don't serve you in relationships. Because this is all about forgiving yourself, forgiving your past. This is you realizing that everyone did the best they knew how at the time. It's about forgiveness and remembering the beautiful aspects of where you come from and bringing the beautiful aspects into your life moving forward. This can mean family reconciliations, but it certainly doesn't have to. This reconciling can happen simply within your own mind and heart, you know? And then we have the second house of owning. Okay, and this is about being grounded in the physical. It's the house of money, and it's about what you own and movable goods. And this is ruled by the sign of Taurus, which is also about solid reality, creature comforts, lifestyle, and areas supported primarily in the physical realm. It's also where your power in the world lives, how you feel powered and disempowered. And additionally, in addition to money and like possessions or whatever, this is all about ownership of talents and maintaining a comfortable home and values, living up to personal values and self-esteem. It's about what we decide to utilize or manifest in the physical realm, you know, but in very like quantifiable terms, like, you know, money, assets, family happiness, you know, things that we can actually see. And then we have Aries, which is the radical. You know, getting this tells me that you need to adopt some Aryan qualities for the second house during this eclipse season. Aries comes off to many people. I know they get a bad rap. It's because Aries is the youngest of the zodiac, right? They typically can come off or at least be perceived as selfish in the beginning, but it really is a passion for living life to the fullest. And this is important for you to embrace, because it's very inspirational. Like, the Aries leadership qualities are legendary. They really are, which is awesome to have here. You know, although there is a tendency towards burnout and leaving things undone that you'd want to be careful of. And there is this fluctuation that can happen here between motivation and feeling a little bit bored. But you know what? Go into it knowing that and just pay attention if you're feeling like that. But as you go through the transitions in this house, I'm getting you're going to be very charismatic, and you're going to be very much in a space where you're going to be very quick to drop what no longer serves your purpose. You know, although there is a need to temper the tendency to push forward for the sake of pushing forward without solid reason. So again, you know, we do have to acknowledge the darker side of Aries. They are very strong leaders and all of that, but you just want to make sure your reasoning is in the right place. But getting this card means it's time to move forward and fast. This tells me there's no time to waste. Considering how your actions may impact others, you need to strike while the iron's hot. And just know, making mistakes is all part of this process. There's no shame in getting it wrong the first couple of times, because that's all part of how you're going to end up on the path that you need to get it to end up on. And this is just how we learn to play harder, faster, stronger, and smarter is really going to be happening here. Geminis, we work fast and strong and hard, and we do all of that. But there's an element here where there's a definitive focus forward, where there's not going to be any distractions, you know? And I do like that energy for us. And then we have the Nine of Cups reverse, which is the sacral chakra, second chakra. This is about an emotional response to someone. And are you checking yourself to make sure that you're handling a situation maturely? Okay? So when this is reversed, this energy indicates ego and self-centeredness and emotional disconnection. I'm getting, though, that you're faced with somebody else's inability to see beyond their own needs. So, you know, this could be a matter of, this can be you, or this can be you're dealing with this level of immaturity within somebody else, and how maturely are you responding to it, really is what we need to be asking ourselves here. You know, this influence can affect personal and professional relationships, you know, which end up suffering as somebody else forges ahead with their own agenda for short-term gain, you know, leaving you standing there like, what the hell is going on, you know? But uncertainty will rule here. Misunderstandings are going to happen, and some sort of delay regarding career and money right now. But the advice here is to focus on maintaining balance and routine to help yourself navigate through this difficult time. And understand that this does not diminish your worth or strengthen your ideas and abilities at all. As for many of you, this can simply be trying to work out the wrinkles, you know, of some sort of contract, agreement, or project, something. But I don't feel like this is going to be a long-lasting energy, but it's a necessary one for you to go through, because there's definitely going to be something humbling about it for you, okay? And then we have the Six of Coins here, which is the third eye chakra, and you're going to be wondering if something is happening within your career or money area that is real. You're going to be like, oh my God, is this seriously happening? Can I believe in this? And the answer here is yes. Yes. This indicates money is coming into you, and this indicates you paying off outstanding debt, and or because some of you guys, you know, have no issues with money. This is about you investing money very wisely for your future. So overall, your financial circumstances are going to improve. While at the same time, many of you are going to be helping out a friend or a family member in need. That's going to have a very positive outcome. So overall, this energy is about genuine support, getting what you need, having, you know, what somebody close to you needs to help them out. This does indicate you feeling very connected and close to your usual circle of friends and family. Yeah, so good stuff, Gemini, good stuff. Guys, you take it easy. Enjoy the last 2 weeks of June, and I'll see you at the beginning of July. See you next time. Bye-bye.